Ready?
Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Culture and Counsel Podcast, where two coaches intentional about culture, community, and culture. I did it! Boom! So I am your favorite culture coach, Coach Paris.
And I'm your kid's favorite teacher, Miss T.
So we're the co-hosts for Culture and Counsel Podcast. This is episode 3. Y'all, we out here in the trenches.
Yeah.
Okay, catch us on BT.
Hey, we coming.
MTV. Hey. Radio. And this one was kind of near and dear to my heart, and I think it's something that's not talked about often, is pushing through when we don't want to. So, and this is from a coach's perspective for the coaches. I know as a coach, it's almost like firsthand to push through, right?
Immediate.
Especially when you're in a community where money is an issue. The dynamic of athletes are so different than it was back in the day, as well as parent interaction from coaches to parent families, just life. You know, what is that, work-life balance as people call it? It's so many different entities on what you have to push through as a coach. Let's talk about finances.
Okay.
When we're pushing through. I'm just gonna go ahead and chime in.
Go ahead.
Because you know that I don't play about that. With finances, I am a middle school cheer coach, as well as a community cheer coach, director of a community cheer team, so 2 teams, and finances is always, it's something like you almost like you pulling teeth. That's what the old folks used to say. Pulling teeth when it comes to finances, when nothing can be done for free. Nothing can be done for free. So in the community-based aspect, I do not get paid. I don't mind saying that. But when I work in the school district, I do get paid. And finances is a thing. Finances is a thing. People do not want to pay. They'll, put their money in everything else, but really want their child to be a part of this particular sport. Well, it costs money. It's not free. Uniforms are not free. Socks are not free. Pom-poms are not. None of that stuff is free. So with the community aspect for me, families have to pay. There is no backing. There is no school district. And the school district, technically the family has to pay as well, but our school and middle school don't get no money for sports. So we have to figure out how to fundraise when it comes to finances. So how was that for the high school level?
I feel like we get a small little budget. I feel like it.
Do you feel like something is better than nothing, or they can really do more? Ooh.
Both.
Okay.
I love that something is better than nothing, so I'm not going to complain because that little money did help me last year. However, when you think about other programs, right? I'm not clocking nobody else's pockets, but I do feel like other programs could possibly get more money, which is why I'm very big on fundraising, because at the high school level, especially when you start getting in the area like competing and all the things, right? The money gotta be there.
The money gotta be there.
But I'm also, like, when we talking about pushing through, I am that coach that will go above and beyond to make sure that you can get it. Not that you're gonna always get it. If you don't take advantage of it, that's on you. But I'm gonna make sure that you got every opportunity to not have to go in your pocket and gain the money.
So I wish I could do, technically this year, we kind of talked about that, I can do my tryouts and my clinics. I also call it before, so I call like open gym cheer labs. That's what I've been calling it. And I can do that now earlier since I'm ahead of the game this year. So initially I can do that more now than I could last year. So fundraising is definitely gonna be a big part this year for me, because we need uniforms. We need new uniforms. And it's the only way for us to get them. I can't expect each parent to pay $150 per uniform. And plus we need the uniforms to stay at the school when it comes to middle school, rather than them keeping them, because I know y'all,
we keep them.
They keep them. So,
and I feel like too, like when it comes to money, especially when it comes to fundraising, for me, I don't want to have to fundraise. I don't want to have to like dig myself out of a hole every year. I want to get to it, which I am getting to at that point, but I want to be at a point where the money's always overflowing back in. And how I have been able to do that is, what I tell my athletes is, when they fundraise, let's say they have to raise, let's say their cheer fees was $250. If they did a fundraiser and they raised $500, they understand that that other $250 is going into the cheer account. Mm-hmm. It's not for them individually. It's not rolling into the next season. It's not rolling into the next year.
Right.
It's going into the cheer account because when we talk about push through, these parents, these kids sometimes think that we are the millionaires. We ain't there yet, but they think that we're there now. Okay, they think we're there now, and they think that which I would never which I know you wouldn't either. Wouldn't let a kid just starve or all the things, right? But when you have that safety in your account already, we ain't gotta come out of pocket. Yeah. So when it comes to the push through, like it's been times where we had away games and kids ain't got money. Well, maybe I don't got it either. But guess what? I will sacrifice and not eat so you can eat. I'll go home in a second. I'll be there soon.
I don't know if I'm gonna sacrifice. We could split it.
I love the honesty. I'll sacrifice.
I split the chips. I just give me a little sprinkle. The rest of the bag.
Let me be honest. Maybe it depends on my mood.
Okay, because the one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have to snack. Mm-hmm. Okay.
If I'm already angry,
I get what you mean on it though. You're willing to make the sacrifice.
Yes, I'm willing to. Mm-hmm.
I am also willing to sacrifice. I think I've said this in other podcasts. I spent majority of my stipend, majority of it, on my team. Mm-hmm. I rarely get a bit of my stipend to put in my household. Now, I've learned how to make things stretch in certain things. However, ultimately, baby, I can't have cheerleaders passing out and because they haven't eaten all day. The game doesn't start at 4:30. Again, they haven't eaten all day. Game doesn't start at 4:30, and now they run through their adrenaline. So by 5:15, 5:30, baby, they exhausted. It's just a pile of just blah, right? Because they're hungry,
starving.
So I know I have given up plenty of dollars because of I don't want you starving. I don't want you hungry. I don't want you starving. And that's just a bit of the finances, right? The other portion of finance is making sure your children have like the appropriate things that the school doesn't give. So like socks, right? Sometimes some schools don't give bags. I make it a part of my fee. You have to have a bag because I've seen kids want to go to away games with like a Meyer bag or a Walmart bag with their stuff in it. We can't go to the game like that, y'all. Well, not me. Not right with me.
Nobody should.
You shouldn't, because there's the way you look when you walk in the door. It's the first presentation that someone gets of you. So we're not walking in with our shoes in a Walmart bag or a Target bag. No, that's why bags are part of, for me, my uniform, right? So I'm just using that as an example because all your stuff should be in your bag, right? Your socks, your pom-pom, whatever the case may be, they should all be in your bag. The next thing for pushing through is the weather. Why do you feel like the weather is, and I'm not gonna say why do you think the weather is, but what is your perspective on weather being something to push through?
For me, if I'm just being honest, I feel like my mood adjusts with the weather. Okay, no, that's the thing. That's a real thing. Yeah, obviously if it's sunny, I feel like I want to get dressed. I want to be outside. If it's gloomy and raining and cold, especially the cold. I hate the cold. I hate the cold. All the cameras. I hate the cold. I'm in the Midwest because it's where God want me to be. Okay, so snow too.
Tell me about it.
Hate it. Okay, but it's a push through because I don't want to. Like, especially during the winter time when it was, first of all, bump winter. It was March, early April, and we were still cold. Yeah. And I'm talking about 30 degrees. Yeah. So waking up to go warm my car up, scrub, do all these things, I don't want to do that. And then we have morning practices. I have to be up at 4 a.m. to get on the highway at 5 a.m. to be at the school by 5:45. So when you gotta wake up and you look out your window and you see frost on the car,
and then if you got a game the night before,
oh my God,
and let's say the game going overtime, because it happens, right? So you're not getting home to 9:30, 10 o'clock.
And on top of that, let's wait a second, because the game go over. You said that's an away game, correct?
Let's say away game. Yeah,
we're gonna say an away game. Away game, like that's probably an hour long. So we had to stop to eat. We had to make that drive home. Okay, after they just went overtime, and then your parents don't come on time. I ain't talking 5-10 minutes. I'm talking 20, 30, 40.
But they up the street.
Or they're not even in the group chat.
So they don't even know. Baby, at this point, get off my team.
Get off! You about to go.
Get off my team.
Because it's a push through. You didn't even understand the push. I had to even get up this morning to get here.
So now that means you're getting home at what, 11?
Yeah. to start over the next day
at 4. Ooh, nasty work. You talking about the push through?
The push through be real. Like
you might just not take some B12. And especially when you're in the colder weather. That's what I do to help with my energy because, baby, you know that seasonal. I'm not saying you have that.
No, yes, it's real.
Seasonal, like, shift change, your demeanor, your behavior is a thing. And so I don't want to use the word depression because everybody don't have that. So I'm going to say seasonal shift change, your demeanor, and your feeling and your mood. B12 definitely helps with your energy. And it's something you can get off the shelf.
Correct.
It's something you can just put like under your tongue and it like dissolves or melts. Check into that. Mari be having a BOGO. I want to get one free.
Mari?
So just want to throw that out there. If y'all didn't know, B12 definitely helps with that.
We love a good BOGO.
I definitely have dealt firsthand with this during the season, and that is with grief. So last year was my first season as the head coach for the CU Mustang cheer team for the CRYFL, which is a football team. And at the beginning of the season, my godfather passed away, which is my best friend's father, in July. And then my twin brother passed away in August. And so nobody knew. I did my thing. I went and took care of things. Had to be there for my best friend and her mother and family. And then less than a month later, which was the day I was supposed to interview for the UMS cheer team job, my twin brother passes away. And
the day of your interview?
The day of my interview. So my interview was supposed to be August 14th. And so I was actually getting my hair ready that morning so then I can go to the interview that afternoon, so on and so forth. So I had to cancel, clearly. And I just knew I wasn't going to get the position because I'm like, who cancels an interview and then reschedules? Clearly, as I went through the interview, I was able to get another interview and got the position, wasn't nobody applying for that job. Nobody was applying for that job because I applied, interviewed for it, or canceled the interview for it, and then got the job. Meaning nobody else was applying for that job. Nobody else wanted to do it. Nobody else wanted to do it because that means you had other people that you could have gave the job to. Them. Even if they didn't have as much experience, you could have gave the job to them. Right? Clearly that's not what happened. I'm grateful for the opportunity. But I ran through my seasons and just did the things, and once season was over, baby, I hit rock bottom because now I can't use going to practice and games and doing things for the team as a crutch to to cover up how I'm feeling and what I gotta do with it. So March was very difficult for me going into April because now I don't have a choice. I gotta sit in this. Right? There's no pushing through. There's no, okay, I can deal with that. I can deal with that later. No. I gotta deal with it now.
So like what I've found as I continue to get older is that I used to be a person who did that all the time. Like somebody passed away, I used to I had to forget that they
tunnel vision.
I had to keep going on and not realizing that as more people kept passing away that were close to me, that I eventually was gonna blow. So mine for me was like more like a ripple effect. Like it was like an add-on situation. My cousin had passed away. No. Back up. My god brother had went missing and end up not being alive in the situation. The Jelani Day case. That's my god brother.
Oh my goodness.
So to process the missing part first, then we find out what's going on. That was a lot to process. And during that time, I wasn't cheer coach, but I was over my own studio. I had my own team. When you process that, when you finally get to a point where you process it, right?
And then you gotta find out more news.
Correct. So you get months down the line, you finally like, okay, I'm okay now. I'm in a better place now. Let me continue on. And then somebody else. It was my cousin.
Yeah.
Unexpected. She went in for a surgery. Didn't make it out. So then I processed that. And then my friend, my mentor, she passed away. Unexpected, 40 years old. I was supposed to see her at homecoming. I didn't go to homecoming. I felt really bad. So then it was just like before her, it was one of my friends that I grew up with. He passed away. He got hit by I don't want to say somebody. He got hit by a car helping someone else. and then her. So like these were all months apart, maybe years apart. But when I say every time I felt like
you was making some progress, another one.
In those first few, I wasn't processing them. I was blocking it out. I gotta keep going.
So that means now it's stacking up.
Yes.
So you kind of got brick after brick on top of you, and now you can't hold it up anymore.
Yep. And that last one, my friend Brandy, I had to process it. Like it was I had to, or sis wasn't making it through. I wasn't making it, so I had to process it. So like pushing through grief, like I don't think people really understand it until they are in it.
Yeah, no, it's unexplainable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very
and
much
the way
so.
it affects everybody is unexplainable. Actually, in the last 6 months, I've known 5 people that have lost a sibling, right? And I can only tell them it's something I wouldn't want for anybody, right? And so I don't expect any, like, I reach out to them, but I don't expect nothing back because clearly you're going through what you're going through.
Correct.
So, but I know that that's not something I want. Even the person who's talking about, I wouldn't want that for her. It don't matter how much I would want to box out. I wouldn't want that for her. I wouldn't want that for her at all. I wouldn't want that for her. For my godfather, which is my best friend's father, her parents, they were together, married for 45 years. They called each other bae. I'm talking about like up until, July. Bae. He called her bae, she called her bae. So I had also never seen Black married to love like that, ever. So, you've been with somebody for 45 years, how does that person sleep now? You've been with somebody for 5 decades. You've married for 45 years, together 55, so that's my process, that's my thing. So even though I was there, I didn't break plus a tea. I was helping because my best friend's son, she has 1 child, it's my godson too. So, helping, doing all the things, and he was a vet. So, he was buried at the veteran, right? And mom was doing good until they did the folded up the flag, and baby, she couldn't get up. And at that point, I can't tell you what happened. I struggle with that, not even on the aspect of me caring about him, of being a wife. What does this married, and I know this is a part of it, what does this married woman do? This been bae for 50 years. What does she do now? I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? So that's the part for me that I struggle with. What does she do?
Maybe an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
But I think the Black community in homes, we don't talk about grief for real.
No, we don't. Oh, absolutely not.
We don't talk about it.
Well, so my mom does. Okay. My mom wants to make sure that she wants you to sit in that thing. If you feel it how you feel it, feel it. Which is interesting because she'll realize, so, or I should have blanked out the my bad. Y'all know how y'all play first. But she wants you gotta sit in that. You gotta sit in that. Go to the doctor, figure out if you need a therapist, whatever. She's probably one of the few people.
What advice would you give to coaches with grief?
I'm gonna be honest. Maybe next year I could say something, getting past, because my birthday is right at the beginning of my football season. Right? I'm not sure. Right? I don't know. Do you have anything? And that's just me being honest.
I would say you gotta sit in it.
Oh yeah.
You have to, no matter how uncomfortable it is. And when I say sit in it, that's all the time. When my friend Brandy passed away, like I said, that was the one that I processed. That's when I had to process. So it didn't matter. I was driving to work. Class just let out. I got 4 minutes. I just thought of a memory of her. Oh, I gotta let these tears out. I have to. And it took me, the reason I say I feel like you have to sit in it though, because I went so many years of bottling it up and thought that was gonna help, and it didn't. And I felt like me sitting in it made me process her not being here for real. I ain't gonna say it made it real, because it made it real at the funeral and all the things, but it's just it was more healing for me, so I could continue to move on. I wouldn't have been able to be
who I was for Team Be Small if I would have said it my brother about my brother and my godfather, right? My godfather's 70, you know, but as I said, the example of a black man loving his, like, you could see it, the vibe, the energy of how he loved his black wife was something I had never experienced before. Okay, so that, you know, that part enough for me was like, even though he's 70, it's like a good one. He clearly lived a long life. A good one is gone, right? I don't have that, even though I have memories, I don't have that example physically here, but he was a good man. And from him being a good man, his life was blessed on tremendous level. Tremendous, right? Built the house from the ground up. Both his wife retired at like 32 years from their job. They built a house from the ground up. They live on 5 acres. They got porta potties in the back. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. Okay, and when I mean, like, it's like they got, like, if there's a living room, a sub living room. Come on, sub. There's the entities to the house that they built from the ground up. The basement is the same. So this house may be like 4,000 feet square foot, but the basement there's a walkout to the back up to the porta. Girl, he has to ride a tractor to mow the lawn. Okay, Jimmy Devine did not, like, you could just, because he loved his wife. And he was able to show that, and he was very clear on Bay first. Okay, his life, God blessed him tremendously. That's truly how I feel, and I stand on that. Right, my brother wasn't as old, clearly. However, anybody he came in contact with, nobody disliked my brother. As much as people that don't like me for no reason, everybody loved Shell. He just, that's what he did. Speaking of, you talked about when you heard something in March. I'm literally sliding. Just, there's a few Chicago TikTokers I like. It's Itty, it's Kiki, Jay Roy. He a teacher. He's the black teacher. I don't know if you've ever seen him. Jerry's a black teacher in Chicago, but he's from the West Side, so he's a real life. But he's a black teacher. Okay, him, Chicago Hotties, a few I like. And clearly, once you get on Chicago TikTok, baby, on Chicago TikTok.
Correct, it's gonna keep popping up.
If you know, you
the
know.
algorithm. It's algorithm.
And so, what comes to Chicago TikTok outside of the food? Dance. And I'm swiping through, and I heard house music and burst out of tears because I know the way. There's very few people that I had ever seen contact that could keep up with my brother. And so I just burst out. I just burst out in tears. I had to get off TikTok. I almost deleted my page at that point because this is the side. I'm from Chicago. This is the TikTok I'm going to be on. So I'm going to come in contact with this type of music, with this form of dance, probably forever. So now I don't have a choice but to sit in that. So you know.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously I had a hold on. You gotta, for the sake of words, you gotta put on a mask going into all the things.
Come on, it's the mask for me.
Yeah, so like me sitting in it was also me. My students is coming in. Oh, my hair is fucked up. But let me get it together.
That's me for my kids.
Oh, it's me. I'm driving into work. I'm almost there. Let me change this song real quick.
I can hear my husband's footsteps, so let me get myself together, pretend like I'm asleep. Because the last thing I'm ever gonna be is weak. That's the last thing. Baby. I'll let you drag me by my skull before you call me weak. Because at least I swung back. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Correct. But I'm not gonna be weak because that's not a part of who I am. However, when you're dealing with grief, you really don't even have a choice.
No,
you don't have any choices on that aspect.
You really don't.
And I don't mean weak as in you're not strong enough. You can't, as in strength-wise, but grief puts you in a place where ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm gonna say it. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
It ain't nothing you can do about it.
Y'all heard it first. Ain't nothing you can do about it, right? So you don't have a choice but to sit in that and to honestly marinate in that. until you can get to the next point, right? I went to dinner for my homegirl for her birthday last week, and her birthday is like a few days for her mother's birthday. Her mother's no longer here, and the concept of her mother came up, and she was just like, I still ain't really never dealt with it. I think her mother's been passed for like 16 years. It's been a while, 17 years, and so, people's like, you gotta deal with that. You gotta do it. And her birthday's right for Mother's Day too, so her birthday, Mother's Day, and her actual Mother's,
Jesus.
And so they, kind of talking about it a little bit, and I was just like, I ain't at that point. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I ain't at that point. Cause one day I'm smiling, the next day I smack the piss out you. So I ain't at that point, so I can understand where she come from. Even if it's 17 years later.
I agree with that too. And the other thing I was gonna say is the other piece of advice that I would give is at the end of the day, it's on your time. It's not on nobody else's time. So everybody could tell you how to feel, how to move, what you should be doing, and all the things.
Clock it.
But they not feeling what you feeling
at all.
So you gotta move how you feel like you need to move, how you need to process it. Take your time.
Take your time. Take your time. That's it. That's it. That's the advice. Take your time.
And just understand that, like, one thing that I had to grasp in sitting in it is that the world is still going on. That's the hard. I think that's one of the hardest
pieces. Take your time, but the world is still going on.
Oh my gosh! Because like I said, at the time with my god brother, I was running a business. I had my own studio. I didn't want to do anything.
Isn't that a double negative? That's a double negative, because double negatives can't go together. So that's why the battery has a positive and a negative. You can't put two positives here. It has to be positive, negative, negative, positive. A double negative is on your time, but time is ticking.
Oh my god! Yes.
What type of stuff is that? It's on your time, but the clock is ticking. Right?
Yeah, it is, and that's oh my god.
That's like that's a double negative for sure.
So like when I found out about my friend, I was literally, it was the night before our opening night for theater. Okay, so we had rehearsal.
Okay.
No, I lied. It was opening night. Yes, at the school. It was opening night. When I tell you, I had just sat down and I was with one of my students. Shout out to her, for real. And I got a text message that said, I heard about Brandy. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? So I look at my student, and she could feel my whole energy just shift. She didn't hear no conversation. She didn't read no text, but she just felt me. She was like, Missy, you okay? And I was like, no. And I looked at my phone, and then she called me. And I looked at her, and I don't even remember what I said to her, but I remember how that student, what's the word I want to use? Consoled me. But she also allowed me to have my moment. I had to get up out of there. I had to get it all the way out because I knew in the state that I was in, I couldn't drive home. I don't live here. So I had to get on the highway. I was in some corner by myself in the building. I don't even know for how long. Until I had to pop back around. But even in that moment, like you said about not necessarily being weak, but like having a moment, but knowing how to just pull it back together, right? So I knew I wasn't gonna break down in front of her, but I needed to go break down. So talking about weak, do you know how strong that is? I'm glad your student that you're with gave you the opportunity to have your moment. Because I know I feel like some kids would have been like, oh my god, why she crying? Like, what? Pretty much, why are you being normal? This is how do you push through with humble children but terrible parents. Will never approach me, Tiara. What?
Baby, I'm passing out. I'm gonna hit the floor.
I'm gonna have to.
Tiara,
boom, 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 bam, bam. I'm about to knock you out, okay? Because Kendrick said it best. Beep, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. Y'all parents be ruining it for y'all kids, but guess what?
Y'all do.
Because we love y'all kids so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because listen.
Absolutely.
Especially my community team, I could have let some of y'all kids go because of y'all.
Yeah, and that's the place where because I feel like on the corporate aspect, which is like schools or stuff like that, if you let a kid go or whatever, it's just okay, you let the kid go. But on the community side, but if you let a kid go, it's almost like detrimental to the child, even though the parent, they put themselves in a predicament, but it's really not helping the child. But then it's not helping the coach either because, baby, we struggling over here. We got to with your mama, your daddy, your sister, your cousin, your brother, thinking that. And we talked about this last week, so definitely go watch our last week's episode about everybody want to be the coach until it's time to be the coach.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Everybody want to be the coach until it's time to be the coach, right? Being the athlete is hard work. Being the coach is hard work. Being a parent is hard work. However, baby, this is my team.
Not yours.
This is my team.
Mine.
It's my team. Clock it. So, I talked about this in the last video too, about there's a parent with 3 amazing children. And they are high level, top tier athletes in every sport that they play. Okay? I'm talking about like, but they're the most humble, sweet children. The mammy is hot garbage. Do you understand me? Yeah. And I would have to think not once, twice, even maybe 3 times to be okay with that child being on my team because it's a child, so I always got to deal with their family, the parentals, the guardians. Right? Y'all got to stop messing it up for y'all kids because what happens is we rather deal with Cheyenne, neither one of us have a Cheyenne on our team, who may not have as much skill, may not have any skills, but is open-minded enough to try to grasp the concept, rather than Sharon Haynes. Clearly y'all get it. Sharon Haynes, who got all the skills, but the mammy is garbage. The pappy is garbage.
Garbage meaning?
Trash.
It don't matter. Go start your own team then.
And we see how well that works. Let's talk about balance. Work-life balance. This past year, I'm not gonna say I struggle with it. However, I could definitely have done better. But I know that was because I started late, especially for the school district. For both teams, because both teams, we didn't start promoting until a week or 2 before we needed the money, and then the season pretty much about to start. So it was like the middle of June, middle of June, and then they got the money towards the end of June, and then we started from that aspect. I didn't start with the middle school team until October. I literally picked my team the week of the first game, so we hadn't even had a practice as a team yet. I feel like because I have made my schedule out for next 9 months, technically, I will be able to have more work-life balance. Because now I know what it's, I know December, especially on the corporate side, there's a performance in December, probably the same day as a game, we have to do all the things and the stuff. I know that. I also know now we probably need more snacks, so we gotta have money for that, right? So kids can be in competition. We can start competition, I have a guideline of what I would like to do, because you can never plan for anything. However, I know what I can do, and I feel like I can juggle it better, rather than saying, hey, to my husband, to my mom, even my son who's an adult, get them kids, please. Because I clearly can't be there because I don't have another coach. I don't have an assistant coach, volunteer. I don't have anybody. It's always just me. So I think this year I know I can do better. No, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better with the work-life balance.
For me, prior to this position and this job, I had no work-life balance. It was all work. I was a workaholic. I also had a perfectionism problem, which made me work harder.
If you're going to talk about me, just say that before me.
But going into last school year, I made it a goal of mine that I was going to self-care and whatever, or have a balance.
You got it down, and I'm going to be honest.
But I didn't know. I love it.
You make it look good. You make it look easy. Like and I know it may not be easy. However, I love how you self-care yourself. How you take the trips. How you say, hey, this is my schedule. This is what I got available. You take it or you leave it.
That's it.
Right? I need to be on that level.
I didn't used to be.
I need to be on that level because the perfectionist mindset, which goes into ADHD and having anxiety, it's once the perfectionist steps in, it's debilitating. I can't think of nothing else. I can't do nothing else, and that's just what it is.
Correct.
Right? I'm human. I'm a real, for real. So I just have to be honest about that thing. However, what has helped with me with my perfectionism is preparing in advance. So how we made our whole summer schedule, right? How we have now, since school ain't out yet, and I'm already preparing for cheer labs, cheer clinics, and then Beast Mode tryouts, right? Which are 60 plus days away in advance to then get all the fundraising and all those things. It allows me to, if things do switch up, if I'm good with that because it's still close to the plan a little bit.
I did all those things and still wasn't giving self-care. I didn't make space. I felt like I had to do all these things and I didn't have time to chill.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say I'm not like that then, because baby, I will take a day off in a minute.
I
will take a day. So I don't mean like not showing up for practice, but I mean the time that I can. We call I don't know if y'all seen the TikTok dilly dally. There was a black girl who's like, "Did y'all dilly dally today? Just dilly dally."
Oh, I'm a dilly dally.
The time that I can dilly dally, baby, I'm gonna dilly dally.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that now.
Now, how important is self-care for you?
It is very important. I'm a person that needs to isolate to rejuvenate.
I don't.
Really?
I have to have my cup poured into. Meaning, now, I pour into my cup every day. I was just talking about my sister this. Yeah, today. I pour into my cup every day. Right? There's some things I do with myself. However, and this is just me being honest and vulnerable, I was raised without my father, so validation is a problem. I don't know if I'm going to get past it. It's just what it is. Right? So my cup has to be poured into.
That's how you refill yourself. Like, that's how you rejuvenate.
Absolutely.
I have to.
Because I cannot be by myself. Baby, the thoughts are endless. My mind don't calm down. I can't.
So I used to be like that like a long time ago, but I was forced to be by myself. Like in the sense of just graduated college, me and my roommate moved far away from people. I broke my phone. We didn't have internet. I was lost from the world for 2.5 weeks. I had no choice but to go places by myself, do things by myself, and that created a habit for me.
Man, when I tell you, I probably slide. I be sliding out. Y'all will see me sliding.
I was so over it
to the bottom. But baby, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I haven't been by myself in 20 years. My son is 19. So we talking about since 2005? Yes. I got pregnant June of 2005. I haven't been by myself since June of 20 years.
Oh, I gotta get some alone.
But even before then, my sister cousin, we all lived in an apartment together. It was like a 4-bedroom, type of style. Like, I never enjoyed being by myself because it was very lonely to me personally. Now I have an older brother, but he was a gangbanger. And so he wasn't allowed to live in our home, right? So I was raised as an only child, as an older brother in the household. My twin brother's from my daddy's side, okay? And that's a whole other story. But, so I was raised as an only child, being by myself all the time. This is also why I became an athlete. I never liked to be in a home.
Oh, I didn't either, not growing up.
So I became an athlete, became good at it. So then when I got to high school, I had choices and all these different things. I never enjoyed being by myself.
I love it.
If I'm by myself, I must be asleep. And that's because the the anxiety runs rapid for no apparent. Just I'm thinking about all different things that don't even need thoughts.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying I'm suppressing it. However, what I am saying is that's not needed. It's not needed. So I'm gonna find other ways to pour into my cup. So I have things I do, but I also enjoy, because I'm not able to be around my kids all the time, so I can go do my kids. My line sister, maybe I'm texting you, right? That could be enough. So it don't have to be like,
oh yeah.
However, it could be as simple as, maybe I forgot to tell you something, so I'm texting you. Ooh, we got that good. That could be enough, right? Or this particular iPad that I have in front of me is my gaming iPad, right? So I play all my games, my little city games. I got a whole baby. I got 4 different cities. I got a regular city. I got a store with sheep to the cows and growing my tomatoes, potatoes, and corn on the side. Girl, I got my pigs and my chickens on the other side.
Oh.
Girl, I got my mine. But I'll be knocking that. I gotta get that gold, okay? Okay, and I got people coming to the store getting orders. Okay, it's granny getting the same thing, the 5 milks and the 4 bucks. Okay, then I got a city that's in like the 1960s, and I got a city in like the 1800s. Girl, stop it. Girl, and when I say it's a big time, I got stuff going on my ship. I gotta make that money. Girl, stop playing. And that is a part of the way that
I love that.
Right? Mm-hmm. So if y'all don't know, I'm a bus stop baddie. I do not have a license. I never had a license. Mind your business. Or you can just ask me. However, I still make sure I get where I need to go. So when I'm on the bus, that is really my time, because I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. That's really my time to like decompress before I go into, because I have to put it on when I go into UMS. I have to put it on, because the moment I walk through the door, matter of fact, once I get off the bus, I'm normally running to the high school, so the high school's already out, and so I gotta put it on from the moment I step off that bus. So what we call it masking. If you have ADHD, we call it masking. So I'm masking from about 2:30 to about 7:30. It's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
I'm masking. So by the time I get home, or once I get off the bus, because the bus stop is right outside my house. I'm depleted. I don't want to eat. I'm exhausted. So I have found other ways to pour into my cup, because I'm not gonna say I couldn't be alone. It's the thoughts was a million times a minute.
I enjoy it. When I say alone, I mean I will go out to eat by myself.
Okay, I'll do that too.
Okay, I will. Well, now I got a dog now, so.
Whose dog is this? Heaven's?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Louis. He's my boy. I read. Okay, let me say this too. At January of last year, I made a list.
2024 or 2025?
2024.
Okay.
I made a full list of what do I think self-care activities look like for me. And it was a lot of stuff.
Comment below if y'all know the answer to that, or if you don't know the answer to that. What does self-care activity looks like to you?
Okay, to you. So I made a full list. Like, it was a lot of stuff, and I just told myself, like, if I could at least do one of these things a week,
yeah, that's big,
then I'll be cool. And then it became second nature for me, so I didn't have to keep looking at the list. It was just natural. Like, oh, okay, this weekend, if I know I had nothing to do, oh, well, guess what? Self-care maybe is cleaning my room. Maybe it's washing clothes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's reading that day. Maybe it's going to make content. Maybe it's whatever is fulfilling to fill my cup. And maybe that's sitting in silence.
Do you have to plan it? Or can it be in the moment?
Sometimes it's in the moment.
Okay.
Sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's in the moment.
Okay.
Now that it's second nature to me, it's more so in the moment a lot of times.
I would say it has become second nature in the last 18 months. So probably since like the beginning of 2024. Yeah, because in 2025. Beginning of 2024 is when I really started to make self-care a thing, which for me means I start making my ADHD a priority. ADHD and anxiety a priority to manage it. Because I felt like I'm too old at my big old age to not have positive coping mechanisms for these things, right? Doesn't take away that I'm very intelligent, right? And what I mean by that is I graduated summa cum laude. I was on Dean list the entire time I was in college. It started from the school I went to was called Gifted and Talented. If you know, you know, right? So all the way up, right? Being intelligent has never been an issue for me. Being who I am has never been an issue. But now that I'm old enough to realize that these are things, ain't no way I should handle coping mechanisms. Okay? At this point, like you said, you insane. You just gonna keep doing the same thing?
Correct.
You're insane. So I'm not insane. I'm not going insane. I don't want to be insane.
No.
And so I'm going to figure out ways. So that's when I had started working out. Now I didn't work out because I want to lose weight. I work out because it is the number one medicine for your mental health. So like you're doing the jump rope thing, right? It's the number one thing to release serotonin and dopamine in your brain. For free, for nothing, easy way, right? So then from that aspect, I started doing little things too then. But now it's more, like I said, it's almost second nature to me. Because the moment I'm like, it's too much, then, okay, I gotta go do what I want to do. Yeah. At that point, literally, I quit everything. Yeah. I'm going to play my game. Leave me alone. Yeah. I'm going to play my game. Yeah. Now, I think we can already talk about this. 2 things we do for self-care.
2 big things I feel like I do. Number one is isolate. Okay. I have to. And I feel like the second thing is probably be around my family.
It's a good time. I am heavy on laughter, jokes.
Absolutely.
Right? And I don't mean like I can do stand-up comedy. That's not what I mean. I mean the punchlines are crazy.
If you know, you know.
You know, you know. I'm the type of person that if you're with me and we have that type of relationship, if there is a joke or a statement, we're back and forth with the punchlines, right? So that's the type of person I am. And then I love to game. Gaming is very therapeutic for me. I love to game. Okay, I'm going to spend money on games, and I don't mean like $60 for a new Xbox game. I mean $2 for some gems to get 500 gems.
Yes, come on.
Okay. $2.99 to get 500 gems. Okay, that's what I meant. Other thing is I don't like to cook. It's not my thing.
Same.
And I don't know if you know that's first line to ADHD. It's an executive function. Too many steps.
That's what really?
I'm so serious, girl. Like when I say I'm dead serious, I'm dead serious. Dead serious. Dead serious. It's too many steps. You got to get the package out the freezer.
There's a lot of steps.
You have to either cut the meat, season the meat, wash the meat. That's 3 steps right there. If you know executive function with people that have ADHD, you got to break them down. You have to break them down. You can't. So we talking about taking out the freezer, putting it in the sink, watching it thaw, unpacking it, rinsing it, seasoning it, and then you transfer it to some type of other thing, right? You put the oil in the skillet or whatever the case may be. You let the skillet warm up. You put the y'all see what I'm saying? Right there, I think I said 8 steps. I think that's what I was counting. 8 different steps to then get the food, right? After that, when we put it in the skillet, make sure it's right temperature. Once it's cooked, take it out. You put it in a clean little dish. At that point, now you gotta plate your food. That's 14 million different steps. Baby, count me out. Count me out. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get on DoorDash, Yana.
Hey.
Okay?
That's why God is going to bless me with a man that can cook, okay?
See, and
husband, I hear you. I see you. He's coming. Cause listen, if you want me to cook,
maybe it's not happening.
It's not.
So here's the thing. I do push myself to cook at least twice a week. Okay. Right? So I do that at least twice a week. And baby, in DoorDash got my back every time. The other days.
Yo.
Okay.
Now I will say
got my back every time.
That is something on my list in the summer, because as now that I'm no longer a picky eater, if you know, you know, I have been trying new things.
That has everything to do with ADHD too, but she don't want to hear that.
I later.
Okay.
Wow, what was I talking about?
See? You no longer a picky eater. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, I got it.
Okay, see?
I'm saying, now that I've been trying new stuff, that stuff is not in my area. It's not in Danville. I can't eat that. Nobody's cooking that stuff. Nobody's making it. My mama don't cook either. So I have to learn how to cook because that's what I want. I don't want to eat the same stuff no more. So I'm gonna start trying to learn how to cook. That's good
though. That's a big step because I eat the same things over and over again. And that's a part of, it's called appetite something with ADHD, that you only like what you like. So I literally eat the same things every day. Yeah, I swear to God, I eat out every day. And y'all be like, oh, that's unhealthy. First of all, we have ADHD. Your appetite is non-existent. If you know, you know. So with that being said, if I do get hungry, I don't have a choice but to eat what I want to eat or I'm not eating. So it's either gonna be a smoothie from Smoothie King, or it may be some fries from Wingstop, or fries and sweet tea for me, something like that. I don't normally need a whole full meal. You see, I didn't eat all my food. I had 3 chicken tenders.
She ain't lying, y'all.
I didn't eat all my food, and it was a $6 meal. So I'm gonna eat out, baby. I'm going to buy the sandwich. Now I mean I eat out the sandwich, but I'm gonna buy the sandwich. And that was the first thing I ate today.
What? That? Me too.
I hadn't eaten all day.
Yeah, that was me.
And I was kind of hungry. I kind of wasn't hungry, but I knew if I didn't eat then, by the time I got home, I was gonna be too exhausted. So that's how that works. So, baby, when I say DoorDashiana is my bestie Westie,
it's the bestie Westie for me.
It's the bestie Westie. And so, baby, we go together real bad.
Period.
And it's gonna stay like that. My husband already know. So what you gonna eat? I'm gonna see what they got on DoorDash. Grab me a little 1-2 step and then keep on. So, but that's also how important to me, because the moment I get too overwhelmed about what I'm gonna eat, babe, I'm gonna shut down.
Yeah.
So if this is going to eliminate being overwhelmed, satisfying the need for me to eat, then guess what? I'm gonna do that.
A lot of this stuff makes sense. This is a whole nother video, but
yeah. So I'm gonna do that, because ultimately I'm not saying I want it to be easy. I'm saying that I need to put the energy to push through to other things, like the humble child, finances. If the weather is bad, what we have to do to figure that part out. Grief, as we have talked about. I'm gonna say my one advice for Coach Push Through is I'm gonna say 2. First of all, you gotta know who you are, and second of all, you have to know what you stand for. If you don't have those 2, baby, go on and clock out. This is the coaches, right? To push through. Okay. Because if you don't know who you are, as in individual, what you like, what you don't like, your triggers, because everybody got triggers. I don't care who you are. Then, baby, coaching ain't for you, because the way things are so up and down and left to right, it ain't for you. And then, if you don't know what you stand for, if you don't know what you know, that this is what it is for you and this is what it's not, which is different than who you are, because who you are is within you, right? What you stand on is what you believe.
So like your why?
Kind of, sort of. Okay. Yes, your why. For example, we talk about non-negotiables, which we'll talk about in an episode or 2. But if you don't know your non-negotiables, so that's what I should say. So know who you are as a person, as in your triggers will make you, like you said, weather for you, that's something, you know, that's knowing who you are. That's knowing what you do and don't like. Yes. You know that you could hear something that could trigger the grief, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But then knowing your non-negotiables, or the things you're willing to negotiate, is different. That's what you stand for. So it doesn't mean that it's you, it's what make you feel bad or good too.
So I feel like the 2 that I would give for push through overall for 2 coaches and athletes, I'm gonna give them to both. The first one is knowing your why.
Ooh, come on.
Why you doing it? I feel like that should push you through. So if you, for example, were cheer coaches, I wouldn't be a cheer coach if I didn't enjoy it, and if I didn't have a purpose and a reason for why I was moving the way that I'm moving. Okay, if I'm here to just collect a check, if I'm here to just say I'm doing something, your why needs to change, or you're in the wrong position. Okay, so your why needs to matter. That's for coaches and athletes, because on the athlete side, it's given very much. If you gonna sit here and complain the whole time,
why you even cheer for me?
Why are you here?
Are you my team?
So that's the first thing.
It's your clock and tea for me.
Yeah,
it's your clock and tea for me, baby.
The second thing is excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who specialize in them finish the rest. Okay, will never amount to anything. This generation of people,
the late, oh, never mind.
When I say y'all make the most excuses, and at the end of the day, in order to push through, the excuses can't be there. You have to do it. It gotta get done.
I have the most excuses, but want the most out of everything and everybody. Baby, please have a seat. Choose one. It's for you.
Choose one.
Okay? But you're not willing to work hard. You're not willing to figure it out. Me and her, we had a conversation earlier. Yes, situations gonna come about, but how do we make this situation work for us? By using the resources that we have, because we all got some sort of resources.
Correct.
We all do, or we know somebody who do.
Absolutely.
It's always going to be something. So let's utilize that something. Let it benefit us by using the resources. Baby, stop complaining.
Stop. Shut it up. No, for real. Like, and also for athletes with the shut it up, I think y'all think
we need y'all.
We don't. And you think also, I mean, at the end of the day, you tried out. You tried out for these teams, especially at a competitive level. You tried out. You came out to our team.
Y'all see how I was at the clinic. Baby, it don't change.
Okay.
Only thing changes the sneakers and the socks.
Ooh, come on.
Okay, it don't change, baby. I'm still doing and saying and all the things and the stuff from the clinic, the cheer lab, to the clinics, to the tryouts, to now. Congratulations, you made the team, baby. And I'm still gonna be that girl.
Correct.
I'm still gonna be her. It don't change from that aspect. It really don't, y'all. So if you want it, you gonna suck it up and do it, or you're gonna complain about it, and then you're gonna be on the sideline.
But I just want you to know, those who push through adversity, challenges, struggles, they are the people who are making it to the top.
Ooh.
Like what I'm sure I can speak for parents as well. When it comes to speaking to ourselves, like talking about the whole push through and things like that, like I look at people who have made it and learn their stories, because when you just look at them, you don't think they went through nothing. You can assume that they just made it to the top. But the people that I'm inspired by are people who had some type of struggle, some type of push through, some type of I didn't just get here or was placed here. Yeah. So it's not gonna come to you easy, and you are learning that starting at the level that you learned it at kindergarten, really, but at the level that we are at, you're learning it starting at 6th grade. You gotta master it by the time you get to high school. So then that way, after high school, it's not a problem for you because you're entering into the real world.
The way my granny would say, and my mom would say, anything worth having is worth working for. So if it's easy, it ain't for you to stink.
Talk about it. And uneasy is the head that wears a crown.
Y'all, that is the end of episode 3 of Coaching Costs Podcast. Y'all, we thank y'all so much for rocking with us, because we really are. This is our 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Crazy. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Comment down below on ways that you push through adversity, if you're a coach, or just if you're a parent, if you're an athlete, or a previous athlete. Maybe you don't partake in that particular sport anymore. Tell us ways that you cope, and tell us ways that you do self-care for yourself. All right? Y'all be sweet.